The real reason on this date, the real reason the United States used an atomic weapon against Japan was a show of force against the Soviet Union. That's the truth. It was a show of force against the Soviets. I mean, Jesus Christ, talk about provocation. This kick-started an arms race, and we are living with the consequences of that arms race. The world is littered with nuclear weapons, and at any moment, you could have a nuclear war. I've spoken to many people who worked during the Cold War, some of them in the CIA. I interviewed others who were in the military, and they all say the same thing. We are now closer to nuclear war with Russia than ever before, even during the Cuban Missile Crisis. I can't even wrap my head around that. Think of how dangerous that is. We are closer now to nuclear war with Russia than in the Cold War. Now, if you think that Russia's red lines are a bluff, this is not a game of poker. Do you really want to wait and see if they use nuclear weapons or not? I don't. The Russians said, for example, if Ukraine is given F-16s, they're not going to wait and see whether that F-16 is carrying a nuclear warhead. They will treat every F-16 as a nuclear threat. Do you really want to wait and see if the Russians are bluffing? Do you really want to test that? It's not a game of poker. Don't flush the planet down the toilet. This is lunacy. And if you think that the effects of nuclear war are a joke, I'll read you something else. If 500 warheads were to hit major US and Russian cities, 100 million people would die in the first half an hour and tens of millions would be fatally injured. Most of them would die in the following months from radiation sickness and disease epidemics. In addition to climate disruption, ozone depletion and famine, and agricultural collapse, you would also have a nuclear winter. I know that sounds dystopic, because it is dystopic. The truth is that NATO and NATO's behavior are isolating us. The BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, are saying, you know what, screw this. We think we're going to go build our own monetary and financial system. In 2 weeks, the BRICS countries will meet in South Africa and announce a gold-backed trade currency. If they don't do it in 2 weeks, they'll do it, it's just a question of time. They'll do it in good time, very, very soon. This is coming. They are already ditching the dollar. You have countries that are buying oil now in rupees. They're buying oil in rubles. This is not good for the West. NATO's behavior is isolating the West. People are so sick of us and our sanctions that they're running away. We have sanctioned so many people, we've sanctioned ourselves.
Indeed. That's the truth.
Yep. Indeed.
You know, what's sick is that you have troops, Ukrainian troops in England right now being trained, and just used as cannon fodder.
Russia is the
American troops, British troops, right? Because we're right here in front of the cenotaph, in front of the memorial.
Bring up 15 rounds of sanctions again.
They're being used as cannon fodder.
Keep digging in failure.
They go and kill innocent people, they get PTSD, they come back here, they sleep rough, they're homeless, treated like shit. Where's the respect and honor for those veterans? Government doesn't care. The cannon fodder, government doesn't care. And what about the bigger issue here? The primary victims are the civilians, not the troops. The primary victims, the ones who suffer the most, are the civilians in Ukraine, in Syria, in Afghanistan. All these countries have one thing in common: NATO aggression. It's clear that the situation in Ukraine needs resolving. This cannot go on. This is lunacy. This is horrific. It's a massacre. But a military solution does not work. Look at the proof. Our Prime Minister told Zelensky to pull out of peace talks, and now the war has been raging on for over a year. You have millions of refugees displaced internally and externally. You have tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people killed. What kind of winning strategy is that? That's not a winning strategy. That's only a winning strategy for the arms manufacturers. It's not a winning strategy for us. It's not a winning strategy for Ukraine.
Speak about Venezuela, but not speak on behalf of Ukraine.
I don't know what you're saying. The truth is that NATO destroy every country they touch. They destroyed Syria, they destroyed Afghanistan, and they're destroying Ukraine just so they can encircle Russia and make money. What does work is diplomacy, and it's time that we told this government to serve us. This government has to serve us, the British people. Not arms manufacturers, not BAE Systems, not Raytheon, not Lockheed Martin, not General Dynamics. Us. You serve us, the British people. You don't serve weapons dealers. You don't serve imperialist swine. You serve us. You work for us. It's time to remind them who they work for. We demand that this government stop committing crimes in our name. We demand this government stop dirtying and staining our flag, staining our names, committing war crimes, committing crimes against humanity in our name. They need to stop and pull out of NATO, dissolve NATO, abandon NATO, just like the Warsaw Pact was dissolved. That is the only way forward. All we've done, all Boris Johnson has done, all this government have done is prolong the war. They don't give a crap about people in Ukraine. All they care about are the arms manufacturers and making sure that Russia is encircled. Yes to peace talks, yes to diplomacy, no to NATO, and no to war. That's
Hell
it.
yeah.